Hello, everybody, and welcome to Maximum Libertarian on November 24th, 2020. I'm Brian,
Dean.
and we want to welcome you here. And please, if you're new to the channel, click on the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and
Smash that like button.
yes, there you go. Smash the like button and share and like this video with all your wonderful friends. All right, the topic today, and I saw it in the newspaper, linked in below. Amanda Chase has, she's saying some things that Republicans are coming out and disavowing her. The thing that I titled this is Amanda Chase is not the golden goose.
Yep.
And maybe it's not intended for Amanda Chase, but I think it's intended for anyone with that thought process. Let's bring it up to the screen. She comes off and she talks exactly like Corey Stewart, and they try to be like Donald Trump, if you will. They try to throw a lot of red meat. Go back up there and we'll read the first paragraph. As you can see, it says 3 fellow Republican state senators took to social media to rebuke Senator Amanda Chase, the GOP candidate for governor, for charging that Virginia Democrats hate white people and now are seeking the Richmond Register's ouster because she is white. And then you have a couple tweets here from Obenchain. There's a gentleman, Newman, from Lynchburg, and they all are saying, like, hey, we don't like this. Let's see, what's it say right there? She said that if the Virginia Democrats are seeking the recognition of removal of the Richmond Register, they should also hold Henrico County Registrar and Chesterfield Registrars accountable. And then it says that too. What's up there?
Basically, she's saying it's a double standard.
What are they being charged with? It is, let me go back here so I can get it up on my computer here. So what do you think about this, Dean? It seems like Amanda is leading the charge right now.
A lot of people like her, especially Republicans. They think she's a good person and that she's going to change a lot. Unfortunately, we're in a state that right now it's you can't keep going with the same old. I mean, the Trumpers. That's the thing. This is more of a Trumper type of person running for governor. So that's going to appeal to your base Republican people that like Trump. Excuse me. And I can understand why this may upset some people in the Republican Party, because some people are not trying to be following Trump. We all know that he lost the election, and he's actually finally turning over some of the stuff over to Biden. He's starting to select people. But do we need to have the same type of person that's like Donald Trump in a way? Probably not, because in reality, that may just lead to another loss. Democrats are running a lot of people. Republicans going to run a few people. She definitely is the front runner, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, she's been going around the state. She's been local. She's been local to me. She's been in Stewartsville. I mean, at a gun shop. So, I mean, she's making her rounds. So, she's trying to get all that extra oomph. I'm actually surprised she didn't show up to that Bedford County thing that Izzy Knight did yesterday, which was good for the First Amendment rights, but the pictures I've seen, it was not very responsible, in my opinion.
In what aspect?
No masks.
Okay.
I mean, they were in a public building up on top of each other. I mean, there was no personal responsibility there. Not in personal, but the truth is that there's no personal responsibility held there. Like I said, I agree with the sentiment that it's an individual's right to choose, especially on their private property. But then if you're going out to a public location like that, to a meeting, I think you should at least have a little bit more public, a little more personal responsibility, I should say, to make sure that you're following protocols, especially in the middle of a pandemic, which can
I
hurt
don't know if that would constitute as a personal responsibility. If
not
my
to potentially
if,
sicken
if my
35, 50 other people.
no, my personal responsibility wouldn't be to mask up. That's almost more of am I the guys that hand up that went out. All right. I think you're just trying to be more cordial sometimes. I don't know if that's a personal responsibility. Personal responsibility is me not wasting my money. I don't know if it's a personal responsibility that I've got to mask up to make you feel safe.
You're probably right on that. I mean, everybody has their own rights and their own views on things. Of course, you
And,
know.
and there was just an article that comes out and it states that masks don't really help as much as that you would think. I don't know. You know, you're getting so much disinformation from the media, and you can't trust your elected leaders because your elected leaders are the ones that are telling you to go inside and lock down.
Yeah, it's true.
Look at me. I get COVID. They tell me just go inside. They don't tell me to take supplements. They tell you nothing. And then you got some older folks that are like my folks' age. And then if it's not said on the news, and then I come up and say, hey, take vitamin C, D, zinc, you know, they might believe me. It's a high probability. It's a possibility they might not. They're going to say, well, what are you? You're not a doctor. Dr. Fauci's telling me just to stay inside, you know?
True. I mean, there's multiple ways.
So in turn, I don't know. But overall, that's not the case here. I think that what I really wanted to talk about was Amanda Chase. And it's saying here in the article down below, let's see where it is. It has to be, Chase said Democrats should hold, let's see, if you go, look, let's see, bring it up, add the stream, there we go. If you go down, it says Chase said Democrats should hold Coakley accountable because a cache of early votes on a mislabeled computer memory stick were not included in the county's initial absentee voting totals. She said Democrats should hold Hargrove accountable for not allowing a Republican to observe a meeting to consider the validity of provisional ballots. You know, so right there, that's stuff you should be bringing up. I think right now, yes, we've got a President-elect Joe Biden. I think President-elect Joe Biden, I just read an article, is already bringing back in the establishment.
Oh yeah.
So in turn, we're back to I was listening to Hotep Jesus on Tim Pool's podcast, and he was like, now Black Lives Matter and all this stuff, all the rage that everyone had will now be pushed down and will be forgotten about because their man, Joe Biden, is now the elected leader. And what should have happened, but because Black Lives Matter was hijacked by Marxists and communists, they lost focus. And because the movement's right, but the ink part is wrong.
Right.
And, that's kind of disheartening because you have to constantly describe what's the difference because people don't want to read about the difference, But,
they just want to believe one thing and say it's racist and go from there.
Correct.
They don't read into the story.
Look, right now we've got Donald Trump as our president. And in the end of the day, he will always be Mr. President Donald Trump because, you say President Obama, President Bush, President Trump. So in turn, whoever the Republicans put up, this is just a friendly advice because they like to give us friendly advice. I'm going to give them friendly advice. I think you can give friendly advice too. Don't run people like Amanda Chase or Corey Stewart and expect to get a victory. You're not. She's going to lose. If she wins the nomination, she will lose. the media will blatantly lie about what she said. If she does anything good, if she does anything bad, they will definitely push
Oh
it.
yeah, blow it up on her.
You know, but quit running people who were look. When Trump talks, he talks that way because that's how he talks. Corey Stewart, Amanda Chase, they all have to come up and yak about, they're mimicking, they're trying to mimic.
Yep.
Quit being disingenuous. And I don't care who they nominate. I mean, it's going to have to be someone really special before I would even cast a vote for them or even consider. And I can tell you right now, Amanda Chase is not the one that's going to bring me out to vote. I can tell you it's disheartening because I think a lot of people, once again, we could have candidates that win, but because of the media, which I will stand by, that's your election fraud right there. When the media, who cares about Russia? Who cares about China? Because we're doing the exact same thing, trying to destabilize their governments. They're trying to destabilize our governments, and they're winning because they're stupid. Let me see. You need me to bring that up for you?
What I'm doing is trying to find the people that are actually running so far for governor next year. There you go. So far, you got Amanda Chase, Kurt Santini, and Kirk Cox, which he's the House of Delegates head, or was. And then you have Justin Fairfax, which is the lieutenant governor currently, Jennifer Foy, and McLean. Not really heard of most of those. I know I heard of him, obviously. So right now, that's who are officially running.
Okay.
For the political.
Look, and you said earlier that the Republicans can't win. Let me just say that the Republicans can win. Libertarians can win. Independents can win. The thing is, they've got to go after the base that don't come out and vote. That's who we've got to reach out after, because I cannot look. When I was at the poll this past November and I'm listening to the Republican, why don't you come back to the Republican Party? Well, wait, bud, why don't you come over to the Libertarian Party? Because the Republican Party's not doing too well here. Don't look like.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're not a great. That's not a great run of people. I mean, that is subpar.
So I do think that we've got, but I think Amanda Chase is really making. Now, look, I think there's been voter fraud across the country.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking to my friend, and I told her, I said, how do we live in an age where we can communicate with someone across the world? We can have a doctor in another location perform surgery on you. We have so much, all this technology, yet we can't figure out how to have an election without having voter fraud.
Oh, yeah.
How is, it's very much similar to immigration. When I look at immigration, as I've said before, it's easier to have the boogeyman because look at all the immigrants coming across here to steal our jobs. And no, that's what we should be doing, is trying to figure this thing out and not having boogeymans. And I don't know who won the election. I was watching Adam versus the Man, and Larry Sharp was the special guest.
Oh, yeah, I started watching that. That was really good.
That's an excellent one because I love Larry Sharp. I think he's an excellent libertarian. I think Adam Kokesh is an excellent libertarian. I know they both are on different ends of the libertarian spectrum, which is fine with me because both of them I would be extremely happy with would be running. And one thing that Larry Sharp talked about was, and now we're done with Amanda Chase. Let's take that down. There we go. One thing that Larry Sharp spoke about, because they asked, there was a question to Mr. Sharp. He said, are you going to run again? He said that he would, it all depends on who the top of the ticket. He's going to run for vice president again. And he said it would all depend on who his vice presidential nominee would, or who the top of the ticket is. he said right now you would have to have someone like Justin Amash, who has a lot of pull, or you would have to be able to raise a lot of cash.
Yep.
So you're going to have to be exciting and bring the people out. You're going to have a lot of cash. You're going to have a team already built before the nomination.
Oh yeah.
And you've got to have be able to quit your job. He said, like principles, like, everyone always says, are they a principled libertarian? As he said, that's a gift. So you don't really say that, but it should be there. He said this year's election, and I've never heard this because, I wasn't doing the deep dive on everything, Gary, but he was saying that when he talked about Joe Jorgensen and he talked about Hornsberger, he said that both of them, when you get nominate an educator like that, they don't have to control the crowd. Okay. So in turn, you're going to get, since they're professors, the crowd gets brought to them and they have to stay there. They don't have to do anything to be exciting to make sure that the attention stays there with them. So in turn, he said Hornsberger and Joe Jorgensen, even though they're fine candidates, we're going to give you the speeches that they can give when they're in the classroom. And I thought, wow, that's a very good point. I never even thought of that. And he said that you should be able to quit your job and travel for the entire time as you're running for president. And he said that out of it, there's only 4 people that were eligible that met that criteria. Do you know which 4 people? If you could guess.
Well, I could say Adam Kokesh.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are we including Larry?
No, he wasn't running for president. He ran for vice president.
And Armstrong.
Oh, yeah, there's 2.
Let's see.
And the other 2. There's only 4 people. All right. Vermin Supreme.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And Justin Amash. He said they were the only 4 that had been able to quit and just travel up and down the road. And you saw that with Ken Armstrong because Ken Armstrong was probably my top guy at the end of before we did the nomination. I voted for Kim Armstrong in the straw poll at the March convention here in the LPVA, and that was my guy.
Yeah, that's who I was too. He was phenomenal. He was phenomenal. Definitely a phenomenal candidate. And you're right.
Yep. Go ahead.
You're right. Certain people who actually did that, unfortunately didn't get picked, even though some of them had a better policy than others. But you're right. I mean, Hornberger to me was looking for money, just spike up his name, and in the Mises Caucus specifically, and that was a terrible decision.
Right.
Then let's see. Ken, he was just automatically. He went on the road. He just went to the road with his wife and his campaign manager and went to town. So I mean, he basically did do a full-fledged run without any kind of he wasn't expecting anything out of it other than trying to get votes and be honest. And Vermin Supreme, I mean, as good as philosophy, he does have a decent philosophy. His look really drives people away from the party, makes us look like goofballs, in my opinion. Justin Amash, I think he could still run again, I think, and be successful, especially if he stays with the party and does stuff for the party.
That's really the one thing that I want to see him do is run for the party, run and help candidates. Justin is okay. I know he's very good with the Constitution, and there's a lot of stuff that he's done where I do like. But I don't know if he'll fire the communities up. You know what I'm saying? throughout and that's something where when I watch Adam Kokesh, I feel that he does very well. He's a great speaker.
He's definitely he definitely at the beginning I was kind of iffy about him. The more I listen to him, the more I like his fire. I like what he's about, and yeah, he's very well spoken.
And Hotep Jesus is very Adam Kokesh like, where he wants more localization. I think that's something that we should all be pushing for, is more localization and more independency from the government, and not be demanding folks to what's my. I think that's what we've got going on,
Yep, absolutely.
And let's see. So then let's talk about one other thing and one final thing before we cut off for tonight. Last week, our wonderful Governor Northam, said that legalization, I think we did speak about this, but he said that legalization is coming, and it'll be here in Virginia. And let me just say to anyone, and I know so many people, I've never done marijuana. If it becomes legal, I don't intend on rushing out to do it. Now, I would legalize all drugs, absolutely, but I think there might be a Trojan horse here, and I don't know where it's coming from, but everyone that's celebrating the legalization of drugs, I feel that there's going to be more added to it. It's not like,
Yeah,
I found a good heart. I want to let all the victimless crime people who were charged with victimless crimes out of prison. I think what you're about to see is something else, and I'm not certain what it is, because Governor Northam is, when you want to call people racist, like Donald Trump is, everyone calls him the racist. We can point to our governor as being racist.
absolutely.
His blackface, his nickname in college, him wearing a Ku Klux Klan outfit. Well, he don't know if he was the Ku Klux Klan or if he was the blackface guy. He refused to shake E.W. Jackson's hand. That's on video. E.W. pats him on the shoulder. He's looking at the camera, and he does it again. He continues to look at the camera. Now, maybe he's trying to say that, that's how you stage, when you're doing a debate, you just continuously look into the camera like an idiot. But he didn't do that. And then, if you remember, Attorney General Herring and Governor Northam, they were doing there was a flyer for all the Democrats up in Northern Virginia.
Oh yeah,
got released, and they left Justin Fairfax's face off. Why? Who knows? Is it because Justin Fairfax is the black guy? I think we've got a plenty. There's more smoke around Governor Northam than there is, so in turn, I would have no. He has not proven to me that he's done anything.
yeah. I think there is something. I don't know what it is that he's has up his sleeve, but he's definitely doing something.
Yeah, absolutely. So people better watch out. It was just like with look up the groovy quote from LBJ signing the Civil Rights Act. I'll leave it at that. The Republicans had to push that through because the Democrats wouldn't. I'm not saying that I agree with Amanda Chase, because her statement that Democrats hate white people. I definitely don't agree with that by any stretch. But I don't trust people. I don't trust anybody. Let's be honest. Especially when they're politicians, because what are they doing there to run my life? And why are we having now? Look, I get you want to talk about personal responsibility and being polite, wearing masks into public areas and things of that nature, and I'm in agreement. I mean, but at the same time, I'm not. If I don't want to go into that business because they don't wear a mask, then they should be allowed to have that option. I don't even have that option. Like, I go to 7-Eleven. If I go down to the other, whatever, the independent convenience store, they've all got to wear this mask. have signs posted on the door. So in turn, you should have the option where, so in turn, it's like, well, if you don't like it, then go somewhere else. And, these idiots who hate big corporations, when they say stuff like that, well, where do I go? Amazon. So in turn, I take away I go to Walmart. They can ship it to me because I can't go out to the stores because, I got to wear a mask. It's just insane, And once again, I have no issue. If people want to wear a mask, wear a mask. I'll wear a mask in the grocery store. But at the same time, tell people what to take. That no one says anything. Why isn't anyone being said? You're the EMS. You're fire and rescue. You hear me? What should we take?
What do you mean? What should we take?
Huh?
Take what? Your idea.
No one says anything. No one says anything.
No, but
they just say,
you're right.
Oh,
vitamin C and vitamin D and zinc are going to spike your immune system higher.
Yeah, that's all you have to say. We can't even get a government that says that. They say, Dean, you go inside and you shut. And even though your small business is that, you're done. So they talk about they said over in Japan, there's more people who committed suicide than the COVID took out. So are we going to address this issue, or are we just going to continue to play this nonsense until Joe Biden takes office in January 20?
And then,
and then we can slowly just remove it from the news. My buddy, his mom lives in New York, and she's like, yeah, and this is a few months ago, she's like, oh, there's no riots going on. He's like, what are you talking about? There's riots still going on. She's like, no, I watched the news. He said, which news? She said, CBS. Well, the news never showed any type of riots or anything to that nature. Hey, and just to let everyone know who might be watching, if you have issues with the police department, with whatever if it was groovy and was hurting Donald Trump, it will not be broadcast. The revolution will not be broadcast while you got a Democrat, because they pull the strings of the media.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, it gets me so frustrated. And the Republicans are going to once again just lay down and put up some idiot to run who wants to act like Donald Trump, and it's not going to work. You could do something. We could. I pray we get a real libertarian to run for the. Well, you know what? I actually like the idea that we have someone run for lieutenant governor, because they would be more willing to vote. Just like, hey, they're not the governor, we can just vote for the lieutenant governor.
Yep.
That was a kind of a neat idea. But I don't think you were at the meeting, or we were eating lunch on election day, and Eric brought up. He said that instead of running someone for governor, run them as lieutenant governor. Because, see, everyone's going to be, well, I got to vote for you. The governor is our lord of the state.
Yep, exactly.
The lieutenant governor, everyone's just like, who cares? Maybe we should run a lieutenant governor and not run the governor. And I think that made a lot of sense. What do you think?
Yeah, that's actually a smart idea.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, all right, we're at the 28:50 mark. Once again, thank you so much for watching tonight.
Absolutely.
Anyone that's watched, and thank you for joining me, Dean.
Absolutely. As always.
We've just got to keep hammering this stuff out there and letting people know. You got to be personally responsible for yourself. Then you can be personally responsible for others. But if you're not keeping yourself healthy and safe, then what's going to happen? Because if I'm sickly, and I've got to depend on you now, I'm just a weight on you, So don't depend on the government. Depend on your family, your friends, your neighbors, your community. That's who you should depend on, not some guy who tells you, like the governor from New York or California, who say you only can have 10 people. You can't have 10 people in your house. And then they're getting caught out in public without their mask, sitting shoulder to shoulder with some drug rep. That was Gavin Newsom. you know, so we got to fight that. You better start pushing back now because we've already took one knee. We're about to drop the other knee, and then we're going to be on our knees.
Yep.
You know?
Can't do that.
No, absolutely not. So, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, once again, please subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell and
Smash that like button.
Smash the like button. And until next time, we'll see you. Goodbye. In broadcast.